likely presidential candidate on the Republican side, Jeb Bush, was confronted by a college student who told him straight up, your brother, George W. Bush, created ISIS. This is Ivy Zedrick, 19 years old, a student at the University of Nevada. This was in Reno, Nevada, where Jeb Bush showed up and he did one of these town halls. And Jeb Bush made the patently absurd contention that it's because of President Obama's weak administration and his weak foreign policy that ISIS now exists. Any reasonable person understands that it's certainly not Obama's fault. And if anything, the vacuum created by the completely ridiculous decision to go into Iraq by George W. Bush, that's far more likely to be an actual cause of ISIS today. Jeb Bush showed up and tried to say something very different, and Ivy Zedrick confronted him. And I have to say, Lewis, she was making some pretty good points. Let's take a look.
I'm Ivy Zedrick, and I'm with the Young Democrats, actually, on the University of Nevada campus. And what I wanted to talk to you about was the fact that you stated that ISIS was created because we don't have enough presence and we've been pulling out of the Middle East. However, ISIS was actually created, the threat of ISIS was created by the Iraqi Coalition Authority, which ousted the entire government of Iraq. It was when 30,000 individuals who were part of the Iraqi military, they were forced out, they had no employment, they had no income, yet they were left with access to all of the same arms and weapons. That your brother created ISIS through the Iraqi Coalition Authority. You don't mean to be pedantic to me, sir. You could just answer my question.
So what is the question?
My question is, why are you saying that ISIS was created by us not having a presence in the Middle East?
By the time we left,
countless pointless wars where we send young men to die for the idea of American exceptionalism. It's this idea, like, why are you spouting nationalist rhetoric to get us involved in war?
we respectfully disagree. We have a disagreement because I think when we left Iraq, there was a security. There was security arranged. Al Qaeda had been taken out. There was a fragile system that could have been brought up to eliminate the sectarian violence when we had an agreement that the president could have signed. It would have kept 10,000 troops, just less than what we have in Korea. It could have created the stability that would allow for Iraq to progress.
Aren't we forgetting just one of the simplest things, which is that Al-Qaeda wasn't even in Iraq before the U.S. invaded Iraq? That, I feel like, is a detail that is lost on individuals like Jeb Bush who are saying, oh, we should really be blaming Obama for ISIS.
Yeah, I think he should know better. Maybe he believes that, but there really was not much, if any, terrorist activity in the country. I mean, I believe that was punishable by death. I mean, Saddam had a pretty firm grip on the country.
A brutal grip, a grip that involved the killing of his own people, no question about it, but a more or less stable situation, as Lewis is talking about here, and then the vacuum created by the U.S. invasion of Iraq, all hell breaking loose, as we now know, not greeted as liberators, not greeted with bouquets of roses or whatever it was that Dick Cheney said was going to happen, which we now know to be just a absolutely heinous and irresponsible comment that he made. I've been saying for a long time that Jeb Bush is the more moderate, more intelligent Bush, but increasingly on issues of foreign policy, either to avoid criticizing George W. Bush or because he actually believes it, he's saying some pretty ridiculous stuff.
If he wants to kind of separate himself from his brother, he should probably just embrace the truth and maybe instead of defending the Bush administration, distance himself from it. Might work.
I think that would cause a problem, a family problem, certainly, but it may cause...
Hey, if you want to win, if you want to win, you got to play dirty.
Maybe, and would it be dirty just to tell the truth if it just upsets your family? Arguably, that's the cleanest thing he could do, which is just tell the truth and say, hey, you know what? My brother messed up big time. It's one of the biggest foreign policy disasters of the last however many decades, really, really big deal. I don't know that he's going to do it. Next, we will talk to opposition researcher Alan Huffman. Very interesting conversation last time we had him on. Looking forward to speaking to him again. That's next.